Hi, I'm Marie. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make some joy.
For a non-traditional Thanksgiving dinner, we'll make egg drop soup.
So for the egg drop soup, we're going to need chicken broth, ground ginger, soy sauce, need a little bit of sesame oil, cornstarch. We'll need some water to dissolve that cornstarch in, and then also eggs. The recipe calls for 2, but since I'm making a much larger batch for a family and extra, I'm actually going to be making, I'm going to be using 4 scrambled eggs. It does call for green onions, but that's optional. It's really up to you if you want to use green onions or not. So when I make an Asian dish, I really enjoy making egg drop soup. So in this case, we're starting off with half a teaspoon of ginger. So the recipe again is going to be in the description. There'll be a link to that. This actually came from Yumly app, but the website will be also listed within the description. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and we're going to bloom this. So I'm going to put this on kind of a medium low. Again, my handy dandy trusty wooden spoon. And what I'm looking for is just to smell the ginger. You'll kind of smell a warm ginger smell on this dried ginger is what I'm going to smell. So just give it maybe just a few, like 10-20 seconds. Honestly, it doesn't take very long for this to start blooming. Just a little heat goes a long, long way. Next thing I'm going to add is going to be 1/4 cup of the soy sauce. Again, you can use tamari, you can use reduced, so if you're trying to watch your sodium level, that's the thing you want to be careful of. So you can go ahead and use a reduced sodium. Now, I'm making a much bigger pot. I'm making an amount for family of 4, but I also want some leftovers. So in this case, I'm actually going to be, like I said, I'm going to be doing a bigger pot. So if you're wanting a smaller, the recipe that's on the link is a much smaller amount. It may be just about 4 bowls and that's it. So like I said, this is about 8 to 10, and so that hence why I'm adding 1/4 cup of soy sauce and 1/2 teaspoon of the ginger. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and prep is going to be my cornstarch. This is going to be my thickener that I'm going to need. So basically this is about 4 tablespoons. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of water to this to prep this and get it ready. So I'm not going to add it yet, but I just kind of want to show you so that way you know. Cornstarch is a fabulous thickener. If you're gluten free, cornstarch is fantastic to work with because there's no gluten in it. So basically this is going to make a nice thick kind of creamy looking sauce, but it's what's the whole purpose of it. It will thicken the egg drop soup. Now, if you're on a special diet that you really want to be careful of the things you put in, you don't have to thicken your soup. Not on this one, you really don't have to. So that's the consistency I'm looking for, so I'll reserve that till I'm ready. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and add my chicken broth. In this case, again, I'm doing my better than bouillon. So I'm going to add probably about a good couple teaspoons here actually of the better than bouillon to this. Again, I want to kind of brown it just a little bit. You can use a cube. You can use regular chicken broth that you have in liquids. So you can do that. It's really your preference. I just like the better than bouillon. It works fabulous in sauces and everything else that I want. So that's the thing that I love about that better than bouillon. It's just fantastic in that way. So I'm just going to give this a few seconds to let this go and get a little browning on it. And I can start smelling the soy. I can smell the ginger. I can smell the chicken stock. Chicken broth, pardon me. All right, so now I'm going to start adding my water. So with the water, I'm going to actually, because I'm doing such a large amount, I'm actually going to add about 10 cups to this one. So for a very large pot, this is going to be around 10 cups. So I've added all of my water to this. And basically what I want to do is I want to bring this up to a boil before I add any of my other items that I want to add. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could add mushrooms, you could add celery. This does call for green onions or scallions to be added at the very last minute, and I would say that just from previous experience, add that last minute. Don't add it early on. But I don't have any in my kitchen, so what's really nice is that this chicken soup, or pardon me, this egg drop soup. This egg drop soup is really wonderful because as long as you got eggs, you have typically like cornstarch, you can make an egg drop soup at home. So it's really just very nice, light. So that's what I love about this soup, is it's very easy to make, feeds a lot, and really you can have it with any dish you want. All right, so our broth now is up to a nice slow simmer. That's what I was looking for. Not a rapid boil. You don't have to get it up to a rapid boil. This is just before you get it up to a rapid boil. So this is perfect. We're going to now add our thickener, our cornstarch. So I'm just going to give it one more stir before I actually add it, so it's the right consistency. Perfect. Add that on in. Fantastic. So this is going to thicken our soup. It'll actually give it a nice silkiness too as well. So I'm just going to let this go for maybe just a minute on the same heat, and then I want to turn it down. So I don't want to keep it on that simmer for the whole time. Just, I want to make sure that I have it for a short period of time here to cook up the cornstarch. What's really nice about this soup also is that I can make this ahead of time, have it sitting on a warming zone and on my oven, and then I can start up my entree, and I have my soup already done, ready to go, ready to serve. All right. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to turn down the heat on this, because when you add your eggs, you do not want it, you don't want it up too high. So we're going to turn this down to maybe a little bit about medium, I think, is where we're going to bring this down to. We're going to bring this down to maybe a little bit lower than that, maybe about medium low. Okay, so I want it on medium low. And the trick when you add the eggs is that you stir in the same direction when you add them. So you want to, as you're adding the eggs, stir them. So in this case I have about 4 eggs, and so like I said, the recipe has half that amount, but when I make a big pot like this, 4 eggs is just perfect. So I kind of get in one direction. I've already scrambled up my eggs very well, so in that case that's what I want to do. And what happens is, by doing it this way, it's going to make these strings. So I'm going to now pour in those eggs, and I'm just going to stir in the same direction until this is done. So again, what's really nice is that the eggs will actually just keep cooking in the soup. They're going to be nice and creamy. This is actually what you're looking for. Again, you want those nice strings, and because I'm just stirring in the same direction, that's how you get those nice strings from the egg drop soup. So as you can see, now I've got the right consistency here. So I can turn it the other way, break it up a little bit more, but basically it's just when you first get those eggs in there, you want to go in the same direction until you have those nice little strings that you're looking for. Now the one thing you definitely want to do is you want to taste the soup to make sure that this is ready for serving, because there may not be enough salt in here from the broth. So I'm just going to taste this and make sure it tastes right or not. Good, but it needs some salt. Again, I like to add my kosher salt. I kind of eyeball it, but I would say maybe start with half a teaspoon. Okay, start with half a teaspoon, see how it tastes. If it doesn't taste well enough, just add a little bit more salt. And again, when you add your own salt, that's not as much as if you buy something, like if you go to a Chinese restaurant, you're going to be getting something with a lot more MSG. Hence why, sorry, but Chinese food is really high in sodium, salt, MSG, it's all the same thing. It's very high in that, very high in fat, very high in calories. So if you make these at home, you actually are making dishes that are much lighter, not as much fat. So actually much more healthy for you. And egg drop soup is one of those that is more healthy. Okay, that has the right amount of salt. So the last ingredient that I'm going to add is just a little bit of toasted sesame oil. So you can do toasted, you can just do regular sesame oil. I'm doing about 1 teaspoon, so you don't want too much. This is just kind of to give it just a little bit of flair, just a little bit of flair in here. So I'm going to stir that on in. I can smell that sesame oil in there. It just adds such a nice flavor to this. It's a nice addition to the soup. Again, this goes wonderfully with a stir fry or a sweet and sour dish like pork or shrimp, chicken, whichever you like. Or you can just have this with a sandwich. So it's a very nice light soup, very enjoyable. And really something nice, you know, if you like egg drop soup at a Chinese restaurant, you can make it at home, and you'll find out how easy it truly is. Like I said, I can let this simmer. I can let this simmer up to actually about 30 minutes while I get my other dish ready. That's what's so wonderful and easy about this soup. And it will make any nice addition to any dish you make. So give this dish a try. Let me know in the comments how you liked it, or you know, any ideas you had that you'd like to add to it. So I always like to hear from my viewers. Again, remember to make some joy in your life every day. I try to. So if you get a chance, try this soup. Make some joy. Thank you.
If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more videos like these to give you some joy, please click on the subscribe and the bell to receive notification of my newest videos. Thank you.